previous things was a client that involved the Chelsea Flower Show, and just being able to go to the Chelsea Flower Show on press day, oh man, what a treat, just a delightful thing. So yeah, so that is that's just a little bit about me, but I wanted to make this soup because I think I mentioned it in my last vlog, and I just thought it sounded lovely because it's a lentil soup, so lots of protein, and then but it has loads of lemon in it, so I thought lemony and sustainable. Now I'm showing you this book. It's an Anna Jones. And it wasn't very much money, and because it has the Aries ram on, isn't that beautiful? But that's not why I'm showing you this chair. So it is Thursday morning, quite early, not super early, but quite early. And I just want to show you my world at the moment. And my son, Charlie, who's my eldest son, so I'm taking the day off work on Sunday. I'm driving to London to pick him up because he's coming to stay kind of for a good few weeks, maybe a couple of months. And so this is actually the spare room. I know, I think maybe some of you thought that it was my room. My room, I was about to say my room never looks this tidy, but you'd probably be quite disturbed if I said that. So all the stuff, so just to backtrack, I basically have to make this room, I've dragged the office chair up here because he'll need a desk up here. I need to make this room really nice, and unfortunately, coincidentally, before I had thought all this through, these are all my summer clothes that have been in, you know, sort of boxes. Going back to this, I just have to sort all of this out today, and I'm working, so today's Thursday, then I'm working tomorrow, yeah, so anyway, it'll be all right, it'll be all right. He's just coming, well, in fact, I'll stop and I will talk to camera instead, because that's just a bit more interesting. Can I just show you? See that fabric? Even that fabric was just a really good one, because it even looks quite beautiful in here. But see, I've just got it draped over the cushion there. But I'm definitely going to make it into 2 cushions for the sofa, because I think that's where it looks best. Oh, and that was the picture you can probably remember was on, you know, is where the rare bird is now. So yeah, this is just another picture. This is actually Alice's. I bought this for Alice. It's just here temporarily. But it just says, "Oh my love, tonight the sky is a darkened circus tent above our dreams, and the moon slowly walks a tightrope into morning." Isn't that gorgeous? Yeah. So anyway, it's my shadow, and I'll be back in a second. Well, hi there. I hope that you can see me okay. This is just a nice, bright setup. So yeah, so I've just had a bath, and I'm going to talk for a little while, and then I'll have to stop and blow dry my hair, because you know how it gets to the point of no return where it's too late to blow dry it. Anyway, I wanted to, yeah, so I was just showing you this situation, which is just my summer clothes, and because I pack them away in the winter, like a lot of us, I think, just to create space. And I was going to do, in my last video, I mentioned navy, you know, fashion things. I adore navy, and I think navy is so elegant, particularly in the spring. It's just lovely, but I'm not going to do that today, just because I thought that you might like if I just did just a teeny bit about me. And also, I think I mentioned earlier that my son is coming to stay. Yeah, so the reason that he's coming to stay, just so you know, is because he is, so where he's living at the moment, he has to move out of there, but the place that he was going to move into, that hasn't, there's a delay on that, so it's literally just that little kind of stopgap. So it'll be really nice to have him here for a while. I've been teasing him about it, actually, saying that I'm having, you know, cameras installed everywhere, and that we're going to be rolling 24/7. he just said lol or something like that, or ha. But we shall see. He might be okay with that. But it will be weird. It's also weird, you know, when you have your children back in your house. And obviously this is a new thing that I'm doing, so I'll be jabbering away to myself in other rooms. But the kids have been so great. Actually, they've been just so great. Really good fun about it and really just supportive. In fact, one of my other son, Alex, early on, he sent me, he sent me a message and he said, you know, don't burn yourself out, Mal. They all call me Mal or Mowley. I don't know why. It's one of these weird things that they have. I just sent him a fireball emoji back because it's way too late for that. There's just no reverse gear here. Anyway, but I'm not burning myself out. This is great. But yeah, so just a little bit about me. So I touched on it in the last video when I said that I used to do the PR for Rosemary Schrager. So yeah, so obviously because I've had a lot of children, things haven't been straightforward work-wise. So I've done a lot of different things. So, you know, I actually left home when I was 16. So it's been a long, but anyway, my main thing was I was in kind of sales and marketing, but PR mainly. And so when I was in PR, I started off at a boutique agency, and it was always lifestyle PR. And then when my eldest daughter was about 10, so I would have been, so I was 19 when I had her. Yes, I would have, yes, yeah, absolutely. So I would have been sort of 29, something like that. Anyway, I met this woman called Jean who was working, I think she was working at IPC Magazines, which is just a really big publishing house. It's called something different now. Anyway, and then weirdly, so I met her sort of in a business sense, and then weirdly, we went to, you know, when you're doing the trawl round for secondary schools, and we sat next to one another because she had a daughter the same age as my oldest daughter. And then, so we sort of became friends then, and then we just became really good friends. And then she had her own kind of boutique PR company, and I freelanced for her and sort of worked alongside her for years and years, and we just had a great time, and we had really interesting clients. We had a lot of fun together, let me tell you. We had so much fun, and she's a really great woman. Yeah, and she's probably one of my oldest friends because, yeah, I think the way I grew up, I didn't sort of bring any friends from that period with me. I was saying, so she's a really old friend, and I sort of lost touch with her a little bit when I moved here. You know, we still speak from time to time because we like to do a good debrief of what's going on in the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills particularly, which is, you know, essential conversation, obviously. But I did lose touch, but then it was coming up, it was a big birthday for her, and I actually remembered, and I sent her a card, and in the card, you know, I just said, you know, I know that we don't see each other much, you know, but I just want you to know that I think you're so fabulous. And I really do. And we were a great support to one another. Anyway, so I'm going to be going to London and having lunch with her quite soon. So that will be lovely. But anyway, I've digressed again, haven't I? Because I was talking about my work. And then kind of from the PR, or as part of it, always I tended to be very much the writer as well, and I've organised, you know, events and things and collaborations. One of the loveliest things was a client that involved the Chelsea Flower Show, and just being able to go to the Chelsea Flower Show on press day. Oh man, what a treat, just a delightful thing. So yeah, so that is that's just a little bit about me. But obviously, so now I work in a boutique. I also do still some freelance writing. Kind of throughout my life, you know, I've written 3 novels, and the first novel actually, in fact, oh my goodness, I meant to say it was, you know, that amazing woman I showed you in the book, you know, the Maverick book, the woman that I really focused in on, who was sitting next to a window with the books and the white collar and the grey jumper, and I just said that is a rare bird. Well, I reread her chapter, and she kind of co-founded the Groucho Club. So yes, absolutely. And interestingly, it was the Groucho Club that kind of kicked off my writing. I won't call it a career because the novels didn't come to anything, but they opened that door, because I did a writing course at the Groucho Club, and it was really interesting because I'd never done anything like that before. So I just pitched out at this course, and I guess there were about 10 of us. And I remember us all sitting around this really big table, and the tutors were amazing. I think it was just it was like on a weekend over 6 weeks, maybe 10 weeks, something like that, you know. And so, come a bit closer, such a long way away. Is that better? Yeah, so one of the first exercises that we did was, she just basically said, right, here's what's going to happen. So I'm going to give you a title, and then I want you all to sit down for whatever it was, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe it was, anyway, it's irrelevant how long it was. It was a finite amount of time. You're going to sit down, and then I want each of you to read your work. So that's a good pump of adrenaline, if there ever was one. So it was just obviously absolute focus. I mean, that was how it got me, just absolute focus. I was in it. And the title, I can't remember what it was, but it was very emotive. And so then we all read our work. And when I read mine, I noticed that, happy soul that I am, but I noticed there were 2 people crying, because it was just a really emotional thing. You know, I'm emotional now. I can't even remember what I wrote. It was something about, oh, I don't know. Anyway, it wasn't a sad thing. It was just a love thing, an expression of love, and that really bolstered me, and so from that, after that, we were then told to start working on something, and I then started writing what would become my first novel. And in fact, I was so into it that I didn't go to the last couple of sessions at the Groucho Club, because I was just absolutely laser focused on it. And then I remember going to a book reading, you know, one of these book signings, one of the bookshops in London. And I remember it was Julie Myerson. And I was talking to her afterwards, and she said, she was just an absolutely lovely person, because I'd just finished my novel at that point. And so I was telling her about it, and she was incredibly just kind and seemed to be genuinely excited for me. And she said, look, why don't you send it to my agent? So her agent at the time was a woman called, it doesn't even matter what she's called, but anyway, so I did. So I sent it off. So, you know, you tend to send like the first 30 pages and some kind of a synopsis, and obviously a covering email with a little bit about yourself. And then, so I did, and I I heard straight back from her, and she said, "This is really interesting. Can you send me the rest?" So that was just such a buzz, and I did. I sent her the rest, and she was really excited about it, and she represented me, and the way I write is in a very linear way. So as I write and I don't write anymore, but as I used to write each day, and I literally wrote every single day, because I think you've got to keep it, you've got to stay in the zone. You know, it's a whole life up here. It's a whole thing. But each day I would begin each writing day with, in short, just going back over what I'd written the previous day to make sure it was absolutely perfect. So my finished manuscript is not like a complete state. I'm not one of these people who the first draft you just bash it out. It's pretty much as it needs to be. So there were hardly any edits. I think we did it in 2 weeks. And then she was talking about the publisher she was going to send it out to, and it was just unbelievable. The excitement levels, because I just didn't, think that it could happen like that. And, and she was sort of even talking about what her strategy was going to be if there was a bidding war. And anyway, long story short, it just didn't land right with any of them, and it didn't happen. And then she really went off me, which is completely understandable, because she probably put a lot of work and effort and all of that jazz. Anyway, so then I wrote another book straight away, and it was a completely different book. So my first book was very much a funny sad book. It was that's just the best way to describe it. It was set in London, blah blah, and then my second book was really quite a nasty book about this woman who, anyway, I won't even go into it, but there was some really good writing in it. So I sent that to her. She absolutely hated it and then didn't want to represent me anymore. So that was okay. So then I just sort of, I thought, well, okay. And then I started, when I was internet dating before, then I started writing my third novel, just about that experience, because it is, it's a ride. It really is. And also it was at a time very much when you're kind of, when you have been through or are going through a divorce, and it's the carnage of it. So I was very much writing about the carnage of the messiness of life at that point, when the children, and trying to re-establish yourself as an individual, and still trying to feel hot and all of that stuff. It was all of that, again set in London. And truly, that book has some of my absolute best writing in it. I'm still quite proud of it. It's a weird thing though, I never go back and look at them. It's almost like, even with these videos, when I'm doing them, I'm really into it, and when I'm editing them, I'm so into it, and everything has to be just right. But almost the minute I do publish, because on YouTube you have it as private, or I think it's called publish, I can't remember, but as soon as I click that box, the word transitions from private to, public. I don't want to watch it again. It's because I suppose because it's too late to change anything. And so I just sort of let it fly. Although it does come up on my feed sometimes, because on my TV, I'm not signed in. So I myself come up, and then when I come up, I think, oh God, I have to put it on, because otherwise YouTube is going to think I don't like me, and everybody, so it's all hideous. So then I put it on, and I turn it right down. In fact, that's what my son does. He watches, my eldest son, he doesn't watch at all. He puts my YouTube video on, because he wants to help me and support me, but he mutes it. So I think that's a very wise move, Charlie. Anyway, now where was I? I don't know. Anyway, so I literally can't remember what I was talking about. Well, I know that I was talking about the book. anyway, so that book, you know, it has very good writing, you know. It's like when you do anything you really love and it's going really, really well, you feel completely and utterly yourself. You feel, it's like, if any of you have ever been on a galloping horse, and I have, like lots of, you know, years and years ago, being on a horse that you know really well, so you feel totally safe, but you feel that synchronicity, and it's the speed and the buzz and the sort of semi-danger, but everything is aligned, everything is together, and you're just going. And when you're writing at your best, at your peak level, it feels just like that, and there is no feeling like it. Anyway, so that book also, well, I mean, obviously it didn't get published, and to be brutally honest, I didn't send it out to that many agents, and they all wrote back with really lovely things, but it was a no, and I just felt like I just can't do this anymore. I just, you know, I can't do this anymore. And then I moved here, and then, you know, I've spoken about, you know, it's not always easy to, you know, establish yourself in the country. Obviously it is in the city, so, but anyway, so here I am, and that's just a little bit about me. I hope that that wasn't too neurotic and fueled with turbulent emotions. So yeah, so right, so back to today. What I'm going to do, is this still on? Yes, it is. What I'm going to do is, I need to get this room, yes, so just back to very practical, boring things. But so I've got to get, so I'm going to, because I've got these sort of big bag things, you know, like these these are all my sort of caftan things for the holiday, but I'm not going to, anyway, whatever. So I'm going to bring my winter clothes in here. I'm going to put them in these bags, and then I'll take the summer clothes into my room. This bedroom needs to be just ready for Charlie, and actually it's really fun because even the bedding is all clean, because little tip, well, you will know this anyway, but whenever people leave, I wash the bedding straight away, because it's always a rush when people are arriving, and then if you have to do the bedding, it's just a real pain in the ass. Anyway, so there's that. But also my daughter, Soph, and her my grandsons are coming to stay in a couple of weeks in April. So they normally have this room. So I was thinking, oh, well, okay, well, we can put Charlie, because I have 4 bedrooms here. So I thought, oh, I can put Charlie up, because I've got a little box room that's got like a small double bed in it. But I thought, oh, I'll put him in there, and then they can come here and blah, blah, blah. But actually that's not going to work, because Charlie needs to be able to have the desk to work from home. So what I'm going to do, I've worked it out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put myself in the little box room. I'm going to make which is going to make me make my bedroom really nice, and then Soph and her boys can go in there, because I have a super king bed. So they'll all get a reasonable night's sleep in a super king bed. And then we don't play musical beds, you know, because again, it's just a nuisance, really. Although it is a shame, because you know, the boys kind of know this room, but sometimes it's fun to sleep in a different room as well. But yeah, and then, so after that, and then in April, later on in April, I'm going to have lunch in London with many of my children, as many can come, because we're quite a weird family. Because we have, well, but this happens a lot in families. We have a cluster, a massive cluster of birthdays in April. So me, my younger son, Soph, and Poppy, we are all, I think it's 7 days of one another in April. So that's really weird, isn't it? But so we're having a little celebratory thing. And yeah, so I think it will be, anyway, we will see who's there. My younger son said he won't be there because he lives in the States. but we will video him anyway. But I will take you with me. I think that's the point of what I was saying. I think that we're going to go to Covent Garden, maybe Sushi Samba or Balthazar. We'll see. Anyway, if anyone has any recommendations, that would be lovely. And oh, there was one other thing. One of you messaged me, and it was a very, very heartfelt message about something that about how, I won't go into loads of details because you deleted the message, but it was before I messaged you back, and I just wanted you to know that I had read it, and yeah, I'm really sorry that you're going through that, and I hope that you are okay, and it sounds like you're doing everything that you can, and yeah, just, I feel you, and and I'm very sorry that has happened. I'm just on my way to the dentist, would you believe, but I just had to stop by the river because isn't this a lovely scene? And these daffodils, you see all of these daffodils here, they were actually planted by Wendy, because that is the kind of human being my neighbour Wendy is. She went out and she bought the daffodils and just planted. Quince, have you found a cosy place? Look at that on the sofa, on the back of the sofa. Life is sweet, darling, isn't it? Quince. Very nice. She's a darling. She's a good baby. She's a good baby. Yes, she is. She's lovely. She's a good girl. Can you see this this is just a little silver chair that I bought when a friend was getting ready to move house. And I bought it, well, because it's absolutely beautiful and it wasn't very much money, and because it has the Aries ram on. Isn't that beautiful? But that's not why I'm showing you this chair. I'm showing you this chair because it had just a grubby cream, it was just, a grubby cream cover on this lifts up. But I was in a charity shop and I found two pieces. I'll show you the other piece. Two pieces of just loose cross stitch, of which this was one, and they've been hanging around in my house. Yeah, so both of them were £7. £7 for the two. It was insane when you look at the work. But I suddenly thought, oh my God, I can just literally put it on here, and it's not secured or anything, but it kind of doesn't have to be. First of all, this chair is slightly, it's just more decorative than anything. It's, look, in fact, I've got to cut those bits off. They're attached to this. Yeah, so first of all, it's probably not a chair that's, well, it's definitely not a chair that's used every day. It would just be a chair that was used, say if there were a few people here for supper and you wanted to sit to perch and have drinks or something like that. And secondly, it kind of just clamps into place anyway, because it's, it's secured. And obviously, the cross stitch itself, or the tapestry, or whatever it is called, it was a little bit wonky. You can see that, but it just doesn't matter. Look at how beautiful that is. Don't look at all the wires and all the hideousness, but isn't that, and with the wall colour, it's even with the silver, it's just a lovely thing. It's just a really lovely thing. And there's just a little pretty tile there. yeah, I thought you might like to see that. Okay, good morning, good morning. I am at work shortly today, but I wanted to make this soup because I think I mentioned it in my last vlog. And I just thought it sounded lovely because it's a lentil soup, so lots of protein, and then but it has loads of lemon in it. So I thought lemony, and I'm showing you this book. It's an Anna Jones, and it's called A Modern Way to Cook. However, this isn't the actual book. I made a mistake, so I've had to print off. I've had to print off the recipe. The actual book that it is from is called, so in the way that this is called A Modern Way to Cook, the actual book with a recipe in it, just FYI, is A Modern Way to Eat. However, I am going to link the recipe for this soup because if I got it online, you can too. So I will do that in case you're interested. Now, you need that. So really simple ingredients as well, which is what I liked about it. So we have in here, we have, because I've prepped this a little bit just to make it more straightforward. So in here we have just 1 leek. I've also put in 1 shallot, just because, I don't know, it just didn't feel, I mean, God, it's ridiculous. I should just trust her recipes. But I think with soup as well, it's a little bit of a movable feast, isn't it? Although there's probably a lot to be said about the balance of the, anyway, whatever. So I'm going to start this off. Where's my olive oil gone? My friend Callum is just an amazing guy, and he imports beautiful olive oils, which I'm not opening now because I want to make it a whole ceremony, but these are from Sicily. I just think the packaging is absolutely brilliant. Can't they gorgeous? They're organic. I don't know if you, anyway, I'll show you that another time, but yeah, maybe I could get him to come on here and he could do like an olive oil tasting. He's a really interesting guy. He's a really, really good friend to me. Yeah, he's just lovely and really interesting man. He used to be a film director. Anyway, right. So I'm going to heat that up, and then basically I will saute these for a minute or two, and then here, and look, I prepped these earlier as well. I just have turmeric, black mustard seeds, and ground coriander. I didn't have any ground coriander, I just had coriander seeds. So I gave them just a really good beating in my trusty pestle and mortar. So yeah. Right, so I will be back in just a minute. I like the way that Anna Jones writes this recipe. She says, yeah, she says about the leeks frying, she said basically until it has softened and smells sweet. Did you know that's very, very true? It really does smell sweet. Probably less sweet than it should because I put the shallot in it, but anyway, so now so this has just been cooking for a couple of minutes, and now I'm going to put all of these spices in. That's a lot. We will see. I think it's going to be delish. I like mustard seeds, although they're not so good. They're not so good for the teeth, that's for sure. Right, so then after that, okay, add the spices and fry for another couple of minutes, and then squeeze in the juice of 1 lemon and stir around to lift all the spices from the bottom of the pan. Well, how delightful is that? I like these huge lemons. Well, I imagine many of you watching these will not be huge lemons, but normally in the UK this is what you're looking at, but sometimes you can get these wonderful ones. Yeah, look, the difference. That one just looks like a lemon. Like if you had to draw a lemon, that's what you would draw. You would not draw that. That's beautiful. Okay, so now where's my favourite gadget? Maybe it's in the dishwasher. Got the favourite gadget. This. Oh, I love it so much. So just for getting every little bit out. So now I'm going to squeeze the juice. I don't know if you can see the juice just flooding out of there. Juice of one lemon. La la la. That's half. And then here's another one. There we go. Perfect. And then also going to put that on. Oh, good. Okay. We'll get our stock ready as well. Okay, so now I'm adding the lentils, which is 250 grams of lentils, and they just go straight in here, like so. Is that working? Yeah. Straight in there. And then I'm going to get my jug here. So I use this stock powder, so basically you just have to put in vegetable stock. Sorry, I was just looking for my spoons, I can't find them. So I use this one just because about 30 years ago, Nigella Lawson recommended it, and then I've always stuck with it. You know, that Marigold bouillon. I know it's not super pure and it's probably got other things in it as well, but you know, who cares basically. So there we go, so that was a tablespoon I put in there. Let me just make sure, oh it's actually 1.5 litres. So I need 3 of these then, don't I? Is that half a litre? I think it is. Yeah. Just struggle without glasses. I should just put my glasses on. Everything's just a bit vague, isn't it? Okay. I will add a little bit more in a second. Okay. So then I guess that's just lid skew maybe. Add the lemon, blah blah blah. Allow to bubble away for 20 to 35 minutes till the lentils are cooked and the soup has thickened. Okay, so I'm going to put the kettle on anyway. Because I need to take some tea to work. And look, here's those things again. Now, they have deteriorated slightly. See, they are really, you know, going home now, but look, there's this dear little jug. It's got a bird, a little black bird here, and then see peeking out. Can you see him? It's really lovely. Yeah. So that's them. They're just really unusual. But I will get some more flowers because I think they're lovely. And in fact I need to get Wendy some flowers because it's her birthday. In fact, look, I can show you this because she will see this before she sees it here. But isn't that the sweetest card? Oh, you know, sometimes you can just get just darling little cards. And that's lovely. So yeah, so she's been away actually. So I'm going to put this and some flowers in her kitchen. But anyway, right, I will be back in a minute. So it's been cooking for about 15 minutes and it's looking really good. I'm going to, rather than take you over there, I'm going to just bring it over just so you can see. God. Okay, let's try and do this without hideous injuries. Can you see? Yeah, I think you can. Okay. Yeah, can you see how thickened that is? Now at this point, you add in the 2 more lemons. She actually says, turn off the heat. If you like, you can blitz the whole lot into a thin dull. I probably wouldn't do that, but it's completely personal preference because it's quite creamy anyway, and sometimes I'm not keen on those sort of pureed baby food. Things. So yes, so but if you are going to do that now, and then squeeze in the juice of the remaining 2 lemons, so that she says taste as you go along. I probably won't taste as I go along because I like a lot of lemon, and that's just the way it is. So actually that should be off the heat now. There we go. So that's 1/2. Can you? Oh, you can see. 2 halves. 3 halves. Maybe I will just have a little taste. Let's be sensible here. Okay. Oh, this looks so delicious. It actually is so beautiful because it's this vibrant yellowy colour because of the turmeric, but it's it has these wonderful, you know, the black mustard seeds. Let's see if I can trail this over my kitchen floor. Look, can you see the black mustard seeds? Looks really good. Okay, hang on. God, that's absolutely delicious. Does that have enough? I think that does actually have enough. So I think what it needs now is some salt and pepper. Maybe not even pepper actually. Yeah. So now, and I won't do this obviously because I'm doing this to take to work with me, and I will put it in my little darling bronze pot that Soph gave me. But what you would do is you would then get some kale, and obviously you take it off of its the stems, and then you actually saute it in a little olive oil until it softens slightly but begins to crisp at the edges. Then sprinkle it on top of the, and then you can also get some salted yogurt and drizzle that on top. So I'm sorry I can't show you the finished article, but you know, it's just basically a soup with lovely things on top of it. And I hope that that was all okay and not too rushed. Not too rushed. Anyway, I have to go now, so I'm going into work, and then tomorrow I am driving to London to get Charlie, and I'm really hoping that I'm going to have time to stop at Petersham Nurseries on the way there. And if I do, and I'm factoring it in that I'm going to have time, and although there's meant to be thunderstorms tomorrow morning, which is just beyond annoying, but if there is time and there aren't thunderstorms, I will take you with me to that, because it is an exquisite and joyful place of utter beauty. So yeah, anyway, I'm clasping my hands in prayer. Anyway, and that is it, and thank you so much. Are you judging us, Quincy? And if so, why? You've just had such a lovely day today. We've done everything for you. Why are you judging us? She's very tonal with that cushion though, isn't she?
She is.
She's beauty. Don't judge us. Look at that. The side eye. Oh my God. Outrageous, right? She has to spend the night in the garden. Okay, so we're in bed. This is Quincy. And yes, she does sleep with me. Sometimes. The reason that she's sleeping with me right now, oh look, little darling, is because I've got my electric blanket on and she can feel it underneath her. Look how happy she is. Look at that little girl. I will take her coat off. Anyway, this is very gripping. Quincy, do something amusing for everyone. Can you just do a little dance or something? Or maybe juggle. Is there something you could juggle if I got you 2 socks and I roll them up into a ball? Could you juggle them? She says, get